That first match is Tatanka versus Shawn Michaels for the Intercontinental title. Shawn Michaels is the champion going in. The match lasts just over 18 minutes. Shawn Michaels and Tatanka are outside the ring. They're having a little back and forth. Michaels grabs the official and pulls him out, which I'm thinking, it's going to be a disqualification, and it ends up being a count out.
Honest to God. I thought it was going to be disqualification there as well at first, which would have been equally as shit. But, honest to God, right? If ever one of these finishes has bothered me before, it bothered me about 10 times as much in this match. Because, don't get me wrong, I know that I'm a little bit prone to a bit of hyperbole, let's be honest. But this match was bloody brilliant, I thought. To the point of, I even wrote, if they keep going, for me, this is shaping up to be, and I'm not even kidding, a minor classic. I was loving it. I thought they were working great. They had plenty of time. They didn't overstay their welcome. I thought they worked fantastically together. And then they did that finish. Why? Why must they continue to do this? They should have just put the title on Tatanka at that point. I felt the crowd would have loved it. It would have been a great result. I felt it would have been a great start to the show, but didn't have the balls to go all the way with him when I felt they should have. And they messed it up. And they shouldn't have. And these stupid finishes, whether it be disqualification or count out, they've got to stop on these shows. There's no place for them. Not on a show of this, I say of this quality, I mean, that's to be debated, but in general, WrestleMania as a whole, I just don't feel they have a place on these types of shows. And this is where it stuck out so badly, because again, it really messed up what I thought was an absolutely fantastic match. Probably, in all likelihood, it'll probably be the best match I've ever seen with Tatanka. I'm quite positive that's
a long list.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to end up being the case. I don't really care about Tatanka, but I was frigging well behind him. I was like, come on. I was like, yes, I wanted to see him win. And again, I've no doubt I'll never be that much behind him ever again. And they should have just gone with an actual pinfall. If they wanted to have Michaels win, okay, fine. Just have him win. All right, he could have cheated to win, thumb in the eye, roll up, grab the tights, something like that, whatever. But they didn't need to, and they have to stop doing these finishes. They've got to stop doing it.
They couldn't have Shawn Michaels win because Tatanka needed to retain his undefeated streak, and therefore they should have probably put the title on him. If in terms of your argument there, Matt, but I'm just saying they couldn't have Shawn Michaels win, whatever.
But they got to stop painting like they still do to this day, and have done over the last couple of years. You've got to stop painting yourselves into these bloody corners.
But the thing is, the way to avoid it is to not book the match. But then you wouldn't have got what you think is a great match. So Matt, which one do you want? I mean, I'm serious. The way to not book yourself into this corner is to not have this match.
Well, if that was the case, then if they so badly had to go with the finish they did, But for the love of God, just pick a winner. It doesn't matter who it is. Just pick a winner and pick a clean finish. How I say clean finish, a pinfall finish. But these disqualification and countouts just absolutely need to go. I mean, again, I did think initially it was a disqualification at first, which that also would have been bad. But they have to go because it really spoiled this for me. I honestly, I was really taken aback by how good I thought this was. It really, really surprised me.
Stephen, what was your thoughts on the match?
So I think I mentioned this is the first one I ever stayed up live for. And I remember the first thing that struck me was how odd it was that their hair was blowing in the wind. Now, clearly, I must have been like a very deep thinking 11-year-old to pay so much attention to this. I'm also going to bring back something I know was hugely popular. Loads of postcards came in about my weather report from SummerSlam 1992. So I thought I wanted to look up, are these people freezing? Are they too hot? And the weather on this day in Las Vegas peaked at 81 degrees Fahrenheit for the 4 p.m. start time. And that's 27 degrees Celsius for anyone under the age of 70 who's listening in the UK. And it dropped to 23 degrees Celsius for the close of the show. However, there were winds of up to 35 miles per hour that day, which I'm sure were quite cooling and probably caused a hell of a lot of sunburn, which I would have been involved with had I been facing the sun. Like you, Matt, I struggled to get into this because I knew what was coming. I knew I'd hate the finish, but this was really, really strong. And just to close off, I actually met the great man Tatanka and had my photo taken with him in a wrestling ring, the only time I've ever set foot in a wrestling ring, in Fairfield Halls in 2000. And I was even more socially inept then than I am now, and managed to garble out the words to poor Tatanka. I last saw you live at Wembley Stadium. A fact I'm sure poor Chris Chavis didn't need reminding of on what I'm sure was already an awful day spending it in Croydon. So as you know, Matt, having spent some time in Croydon recently. So yeah, great opener. But again, just babyface wins a title is probably the way to go at WrestleMania, and have it for a month and screw him out of it. Have them go elsewhere, because if you're going towards Michaels and Mr. Perfect SummerSlam, I don't see what they protected people too much back then, and this was a theme in WWF in the 90s.
I mean, they did, and I don't really know. I just don't think they should have booked the match. That's the way I feel about it. Is that you don't want Tatanka to win because you want Michaels to keep the title. You don't want Michaels to win because Tatanka is undefeated, and that is really the only thing Tatanka's got going for him, to be honest. So you pull that away from him, and he's done. In fact, that's effectively what happened. He lost for the first time in like late '93, and after that, he was never quite the same. It's really all he had. So I think don't book the match. I also think that the reason they booked the match is because, once again, Marty Jannetty fucked up, and this would surely have been Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty again for the second year running. They couldn't do it because Marty Jannetty was an idiot. So yeah, all of that is by the by. I thought it was all right. I didn't think it was that great. I thought it was only okay. I mean, Tatanka's not a great worker, and I don't think Shawn Michaels at this point was a great worker either. I think he was a good worker, and he was getting better, but I just don't think he was there yet. And I thought this was decent, but I could take it or leave it. And maybe Matt, my what Steven said is right for me too. Anticipating the finish, I was like, well, what difference does it make how good this match is? But yeah, for me, it was all right. It was fine. It didn't go to the heights that you guys thought it did for me. This was also the debut in the company for Luna Vachon. So she accompanies Shawn Michaels to the ring to counter Sensational Sherry. And once again, all of this stuff feels a little bit like, in lieu of Marty Jannetty being there, it doesn't make so much sense. So the whole idea would have been, Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels fighting, effectively, not fighting over Sensational Sherry, but Marty Jannetty almost being the equalizer for Sensational Sherry against Shawn Michaels. But him not being around meant that she suddenly had to kind of be in Tatanka's corner, and therefore Luna turned up as kind of Shawn's equalizer to that. But they didn't really stick together after this. I don't even know whether or not Shawn Michaels seemed unhappy about the fact that she was there with him. That's what I got from this. At the end of the match, he walks out and she sticks around, and he doesn't even seem to, even for a second, acknowledge that she's been in his corner. It felt a little bit like this was either always planned to be a one and done thing, or Shawn just wasn't at all interested in having Luna Vachon next to him. I don't know which one's true, but that's how it appeared to me. And then Luna Vachon would obviously go on to be Bam Bam Bigelow's main squeeze over the next year or so, until she sold his contract, which is bizarre, given that they were a main squeeze, to Ted DiBiase and the $1 Million Corporation.
I have no memory of any of that, but thank you for filling in the mid-90s blanks.
Mate, mid-90s is where I have no blanks at all.
Yeah.
This is all my stuff now. This is where we're really cooking on gas.